welcome to the regular podcast. This anything but. We're doing a Marvel rewatch 23 weeks before Black Widow premieres in theater, hopefully. So this is episode 1, and we're reviewing the movie Iron Man. First off, we want to start with the review. What did you guys think of Iron Man? Because I can see the film as good. Savant is nothing shorter than perfection. There are some problems, but I like it.
Iron Man, you know, it's a really great movie. It's it's also got a lot of flaws, but the movie in itself, it's a good film. Like watching Iron Man, you know, it's so different going back and watching it with the power of hindsight because you start to appreciate like all the finer details in the film and all the characters, and you get to see
Exactly,
his arc begin.
even if it wasn't intentional, you still see that they actually had some care in this character.
Hmm.
And especially at the time, because he was a B-list character, nobody knew his name, and he actually warranted a sequel, and he was the first solo movie in a Marvel property to make $1 billion.
Yeah,
So
they made Robert Downey Jr. a household name.
exactly. I mean, people knew him, but they only knew him as the drug addict. So
Hmm. I didn't even know he was a drug addict. I didn't know that much about him.
me neither until my brother told me. He kind of messed up my whole childhood. He said Robert Downey Jr. used to roll up. I was like, what you mean roll up? Like roll up to the Malibu mansion in Iron Man? No, he said roll up. So yeah. Davis, what about you?
I think Iron Man is the definitive superhero movie. This is what a superhero movie should be
Yeah.
when it enters a franchise or is shown off the first time in a franchise. Iron Man
Definitive.
just
Yeah.
shows that perfectly.
And
Definitive.
listen, you gotta think about it, bro. Dark Knight came out the same year. Dark Knight was profitably better. It did well. It did well, and I personally think that Dark Knight might be better than this movie, but I still enjoy this movie more.
Yeah.
If I want to have a good time, I will watch Iron Man. If I want to see a serious movie, I will watch The Dark Knight. And both of
But
those movies are kind of the same but different tonally and story wise.
the thing that makes Iron Man special for me is that it's a very different movie, and you have your main character who's not very likable. Like, come on, I think we can all agree that Tony's not very likable in the first
Exactly. Not at
third.
the start.
Yeah, but just knowing seeing him his humble beginnings and how this is Iron Man. This is what started Iron Man.
Yeah, this
And
is what started the whole MCU. From this point, the world would never be the same.
yeah, just change superhero movies for the better. And I
Saying,
know you said before that Kevin Feige gets a lot of the credit, but
I'm
I feel
saying,
like
but it was
John Favreau.
saying the writers, the actors, the crew, everybody that worked on this movie should deserve most of the credit. And even because the script wasn't even finished, they didn't have
Yeah,
a full
I heard
script.
about that. I heard about that. A lot of it was improv from
Things I don't
Downey and
really like about it are, I'm sorry, but Leslie Bibb, she just kind of messes up
the
the movie
reporter.
for me. Yeah, she
Oh yeah,
she
Christine.
honestly shouldn't exist in the movie. She's kind of
I think
irrelevant.
she exists just to be the stereotypical journalist that
Yeah,
does whatever to get her story.
That Tony slept with, shut her down twice and slept with her once. So
Yeah, but if you watching this movie, we pointed out a lot of times that she's just there in the background for no reason,
yeah,
like just
like
standing
like
there.
while I was watching the movie, it was like this scene, it was like the scene where Tony found out that his weapons were getting dealt under the table, and Christine was just sitting in the background looking stupid.
She didn't say
She
anything.
really,
Had
she
no
really
point to
thought
be
that
there.
Tony was gonna turn around.
Uh,
So,
but
what do you think about Terrence Howard?
I loved him. I loved him.
should we just get in the characters now? Getting to it
Yeah.
early.
Yeah,
All
we
right. Just no. You go ahead. Start.
all right. So they don't like Terrence Howard. I enjoy Terrence Howard as Rhodey. Listen. I think he did a better job as Rhodey in this movie here.
No,
He
I
seems like
have to disagree.
he seems like the army guy. Okay, he seems like the guy that can be in the army, that can set Tony straight. Don Cheadle is a great actor. I like his interpretation of Rhodey, but my preference, I'm gonna have to go with Terrence Howard.
Look, I got nothing against Terrence Howard, but it's just the attitude that Rhodey has in this movie is so like, what's the word? But he talks down to Tony a lot, and he just has this tone, like whenever he says his line, that like, that's the person like you just got in trouble and they're talking to you, but you're not really listening to them.
But well, you gotta like think about it like this way. Like at the beginning of the movie, we see that Tony is actually like, he seems like this guy that's above everyone else. Like, people talk up to him. And
Mm-hmm.
as having like Rhodey as this person that can talk down to Tony shows how great their friendship is. Because if he can talk down to this billionaire, then he's straight.
The thing is that they don't seem like friends to me. Like in the movie, like it kind of feels like it's hard to describe. I just don't think Terrence Howard does a good job in the movie. Like a lot of his lines are delivered very flat. But that's me. I know Davis doesn't.
He's
like
very
Terrence Howard's
baritone.
movie.
He doesn't really show much emotion. He just kind of says something with zero emotion at all, not really any facial expressions.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Well, that's you guys' opinion. Honestly, I'm sticking with mine. Terrence Howard is pretty good in this role.
All right,
And
what do you think
I
about
enjoy him.
what do you think about Obadiah Stane, aka Jeff Bridges?
Lebowski.
Obadiah, the Big Lebowski.
Uh,
He's very good.
He's
in
good at
this
his
movie,
job.
up until the
It's
third act.
just his character in the third act is kind
Yeah,
of
very
it's
cringe,
kinda-
to be
strong
honest.
villain, but
yeah, they kind of
everything falls
crammed in
apart.
a lot of storylines. They try to cram in a lot of storylines with this.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of
The
made it feel like,
misdirection
yeah,
was very good. I think it was very well done, but his plan, like a lot of the Phase 1 movies share the same problem of this plan where it's like, oh, the Phase 3 villain, he just starts killing people.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
So
really think
He's
the
very
plan is
cliche.
something.
He steals
Yeah,
exactly,
the hero's he
exactly.
steals the hero's property and
let's talk
uses it
about
against him.
the
Yeah.
title card character,
Yeah.
Tony Stark. Tony Stark.
So it's weird. It's weird how this character is. What about Pepper? Like, did you guys like Pepper?
Honestly,
I
she
thought
did
she did
good.
very well.
She did good, but
Her
some of
acting,
her acting was
yeah,
kind of
her
off.
acting,
The third
mainly
act
in the
was
third
definitely
act.
kind of messed up.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I feel like I like her performance in other movies more,
mhm.
preferably Iron Man 2. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
that's
you
yeah,
can really
She
see
had
the
almost
chemistry
no
between
presence in Iron Man 3.
her and Downey.
yeah. That's why I say like Iron Man 3 has the worst Pepper and Tony relationship because she's not really around Tony as much.
Hmm. But like, yeah, in this movie, you can really tell that Pepper like truly cares about Tony.
Yeah. Like he
Also,
kind of cares about Pepper too, but he doesn't know how to like express it. He's always come
yeah,
off as cold because that's the way
but
his father was to him.
he seems like
So
that guy. He has everything, but
he
he
has
gets a lot of
nothing.
girls, but he doesn't know how to talk to them.
Exactly.
Usually, probably a lot of women just come to him, for his money because he's Tony Stark. He's all big, but
I'm
I feel
saying,
like he's
but
very vulnerable
yeah, but
with
once he
Pepper.
unzipped those pants, that shrimp, it's crazy.
Editing the
I'm
crap
telling y'all,
out.
bro. Christine loves seafood.
I'm editing
She's a
this out, by the way.
don't.
It's out shrimp. All right, pause. Edit it.
What do you guys think about Raza, aka the dude with the burnt head?
Him?
Yeah.
Man, I like the fat man better.
He's barely in the movie.
I'm saying.
They set
Killed
him
this
up to be
dog.
the villain, and then he
I
just
like
He's
he's
not
just
I like the
gone.
cliche.
fat
He's
man
just
better.
useless, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the fat man. I don't know his character name, but
Like
his voice is very funny.
like I said when we was watching the movie, I feel like that guy actually had something to do with 9/11. He had to. You heard all those words that he was saying, Aluk Akbar? Come on, man.
That's not what they said.
Allahu.
That's exactly
That is
what they
not what
said.
they said.
That's
That's
exactly
not
what
what
they
they
said.
said.
I swear to you. That's what
Oh,
I heard.
the
At
fat man.
least.
His name is Abu Bakar.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
let the viewers decide. I'm guaranteed that they did not say Allahu Akbar in the movie. But
Oh well. But I mean,
There's actually not a lot of characters to talk about that are like
exactly. I mean,
huge deal.
Colson is pretty well.
Yeah,
Colson is pretty well done.
Colson was in there, bro. Colson was in
he's
there.
just
Yeah.
like kind of there, doing
Yeah,
his own
he's a
thing.
little sprinkle. He's a little sprinkle. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
a little sprinkle
Yeah,
touch.
I really liked that though.
And
Yeah,
Samuel
so
Jackson, consider him cherry on top.
Yeah. So we're gonna
I
move into the story
mm-hmm.
elements. Like,
Story.
I honestly thought that the story was kind of convoluted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It moves really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I wrote. That's the thing that I just like about the movie. The pacing is very slow. Then it just like kicks into gear like really fast, and you're just like, wait, you could have gone back and explained some of that more, but
Yeah.
do a quick breakdown of the story. So basically, everyone knows it. Tony Stark kidnapped in the desert. Figures out
Yep.
that his weapons are being sold to the wrong people, and he wants to stop that.
Yep.
But
He's
There was
more
an
of a
Iron Man
he's
suit.
more of a hero that doesn't want to be a hero. He's being a
hmm
hero for
Yeah.
himself and his image.
but he has his
Exactly.
eyes opened. I feel like
Yeah,
he
and
really
Exactly.
has his
at
eyes
the end
open
of the
in this
movie, he
movie.
has his eyes open when he has to protect those people.
And the chemistry we didn't talk about in the characters, but him and Yinsen,
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm about to get onto. Like
yeah,
him
the
and
MCU, you rarely see Tony showing like a lot of emotion,
Yep.
and I really like. I'm pretty sure Yinsen is like the first time he says thank you
yeah.
in the movie.
I think
And you
Iron
can
Man
He
wouldn't
tell.
be Iron
almost.
Man without Yinsen. So
I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys
Exactly.
noticed,
He wasn't gonna
but
be Iron Man without you.
in the following movies, Tony doesn't like being handed things, and I feel like that stems from the fact that Christine handed him the picture about his weapons being sold to people, and
That could be a reason.
I think John Favreau. I don't think he intentionally set that up, but it was a good thing. It was a good
Yeah.
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
The
Going back on
story.
characters a little bit. Yinsen, he was there, but he didn't really pack as much as a punch that we kind of needed him to.
He was likable. He was
He
likable.
was
Yeah.
likable.
He was.
He was just like kind of there.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
then.
I agree.
And like from like the dialogue, it can be like thrown away dialogue, but you can actually see that they actually have some history together. Like Jensen and Tony have some history together. Like even the Switzerland thing from 1999,
hmm
that's
But
just a
do you
representative of
think
itself.
John Favreau intended to set that up? Because I know he didn't direct 3.
Yeah, I don't think he intended to set it up,
I
but
think it
he
was just
just
like a
probably
throwaway
like
line.
yeah.
Doing it. But overall, this story it has a very darker tone compared to the
Yeah,
MCU because it wasn't really trying to set up a cinematic universe. It was
yeah,
just
it
trying to
stood
set
as
up
his
the
own
trilogy.
movie. Yeah, it stood up. It stood as his own movie. And personally, it really didn't need a sequel.
Yeah,
People probably wanted a
Yeah.
sequel, but it really didn't need a sequel. It stood as its
no,
own thing, and that little sprinkle of shield at the end.
Honestly, I
You
mm-hmm.
think
know,
we deserved a sequel though.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did deserve it.
Robert Downey's the perfect casting for Tony Stark.
Did we deserve the sequel that we got?
We'll get into that. I have very colorful opinions on Iron Man 2, but the story in this movie, it has like very like adult tones of betrayal,
I'm
arms dealing,
saying
you
sex,
know,
drugs.
yeah, addiction,
I'm saying,
you
um,
know,
Happy Smoke cigarettes.
hmm
We see
torture,
Obadiah Stane
terrorism,
exactly.
you know, you
And
have to
that's
be
one of the
mature
themes of
to
that.
understand.
That's one of the themes of the Iron Man trilogy is
Yeah,
terrorism.
it's grounded in realism. That's why I think
Yeah,
that works really well with John Favreau's like idea of like if it can be done practical, we're doing it practical. And the even
exactly,
things that aren't done practical, the CGI is very well done.
exactly, and
We
it
have to say
aged
that.
pretty well.
80 for its time, 2008, and have better CGI than Black Panther.
I'm saying Black Panthers. Well, no, we'll wait.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll save it. Davis,
Yep.
what do you think of the story?
It's a story for another
Um,
time.
ooh, the story. I think it's kind of honestly, it's way different than any other Iron Man movie that
Yeah,
there is. So I like it for that, and I like that it kind of introduces Iron Man a little bit slowly, and then just kind of. Actually, I don't really like that it just shoots upwards nearing
yeah.
the quarter of the movie. They should have brought him in a little easier than that, but I still like it. So
Uh, yeah, I agree. The third act is kind of where this movie falls apart.
Yep,
And
it's not the best, but I do think that it is it's the second best of the Iron Man trilogy, and in my opinion,
mhm.
I did a ranking of that. So we're gonna move it into the villain arc,
There's
Ian's
two.
arc.
There's two.
That's three
Just
actually.
kind of
Yep.
three.
Okay, so
Yep.
let's start with the
The
lower
Fat Man.
characters first.
The
Fat
Fat
Man.
Man.
Fat Man.
What was
Abu
his
Bakar.
Fat Man? He was very funny. I think he was a very stereotypic bad guy.
I'm saying,
He was
but
funny though.
but
Like you couldn't understand what he was saying, but he said it funny.
but he was getting punked though.
Yeah, he was.
Like if you think about it, like Davis pointed this out while we was watching the movie. He said that Tony was running the game even while kidnapped. Like
He was.
that shows
He
like
was very
how
threatening.
yeah
He ended up
his
getting what he deserved.
Oh,
his
and
people
he
were
was keeping
threatening.
up. He was keeping
Yeah,
up his charming personality even in the circumstances.
he had a very nice beard though.
Exactly.
He was rocking a beard.
Yeah, the beard is pretty cool.
He's like he looked like a Middle Eastern Santa.
I think he deserves a little bit more points for that beard. Like beard's
Yeah, that
nice.
beard is very nice. So, now let's talk about the second main villain. What was his name again?
Oh yeah, the little bald headed guy, the
Oh,
one whose
Yeah,
head looked like an
his name
M&M.
Rocco. Something.
Raza.
Raza.
Raja.
Raza.
Raja.
He was
Raja.
like trying to like threaten Tony, and then Obadiah just came in and stomped on him. But I thought he was gonna have more to do in the movie. Like I thought the misdirection was very well. Like they
He
set
should have
him
had
up.
more to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, the misdirection was pretty well done. But we spent all this time with like these Afghanistan people, and then we have all these terrorists and stuff like that. And then we move into the businessman, the guy that's been the villain working behind the
Yeah,
scenes the whole time.
he's
You know.
Yeah.
he's pulling the strings.
All
So I
right.
think that's pretty cool. I think that arc is pretty cool. I like that one right there. But the way the third act was handled with the big bad Iron Man fighting the little good Iron Man, it's kind of cliche,
Yeah,
like
that's like
everybody
kind of
says.
the theme of the Iron Man. Truly, it's just like a big suit v suit battle. In order
Yeah.
to change that up on
Well,
a few, but
yeah. Iron Man
All
3
right, let's
was
talk
a
about
lot better.
Obadiah.
Obadiah. What you think about Obadiah?
Ooh, Obadiah was stereotypical. He was kind of like good story, but bad villains. So I really don't care
Yeah,
for him.
No,
he wanted money. That was his whole
Yeah, he wasn't
yeah,
his
very
whole life.
logical.
He
Like
wanted wealth.
at
well
Yeah.
that
said, but
time, it was a more
me, I
modern
agree.
movie at that time. So I think that he could have been a little bit more smarter with his scheme, and
Yeah, no,
not let Iron Man off so easy.
no. As
But
we
like if you
were
Mhm.
talking through the movie about Obadiah, like he's a very solid villain up until the third act. Like
Yeah,
like he's kind of in it for the money. And he's kind of slimy for
exactly.
that, but
That
you
was
don't
his
think he's
whole,
evil.
character thing.
But then you get into the third act, and he goes from wanting to take over Tony's company to just causing havoc in California. Doesn't the movie take place in California?
Yeah, Malibu.
Yeah, he's just like wreaking havoc, killing people. I said in the movie, like, this is very dumb. This doesn't make sense why Obadiah is doing this. He wants to
I'm
take over
saying
Tony's company. He should have killed Tony and Pepper when he had the chance, and not make a suit and go on a rampage through
nobody,
downtown.
no, nobody was in that office with them, so easily Obadiah could have, handled business. Nobody was in the house with Tony. Easily,
Could have easily taken him out, but he decides to build a giant suit and go on a rampage and start murdering people.
Yeah.
But all that, like the first and second type, I actually liked Obadiah as a character.
yeah, I could
Honestly,
forgive all of that
in
for
my
his
opinion,
character.
he's the worst Iron Man villain.
I can see that. I can see that. I kind of
I
agree with
can,
that.
I can see why you would say that, but I don't agree.
Okay.
No, I think Obadiah, like, he's a very good person to place alongside Robert Downey Jr. because
He,
they both have like
I,
these snarky personalities.
yeah.
You
So
know.
I'm gonna say like the main villains out of the Iron Man trilogy, Obadiah is the best,
Nah, I can't say
in
that.
my
I can't do
opinion.
that, dude. I can't.
In my
Your
opinion,
opinion,
it's just my
you.
opinion.
No, it's dicey. What?
It's my
Obadiah, he's
opinion.
cool until he becomes the villain. Then he's very unlikable. But those are villains. How about we talk about the hero? Tony's journey throughout the movie.
Tony is
Uh,
not a hero.
hmm,
He's
he's really not.
he's a person who like does stuff for
Exactly.
himself.
Yeah, I feel like Tony is a person who's just trying to atone for his sins. You know,
Exactly.
he had his eyes opened
So
in
he's not.
Afghanistan.
All right, all right.
Yeah. So he's not the hero type. Just like he said in the movie, he's clearly not
Hmm.
the hero type. So we
But
shouldn't treat him like a hero just because of he killed
you know,
somebody. You know what I mean?
Tony, like,
Killed
he's
a bad
very
guy.
unlikable in the movie.
Yep. Well,
Like
he
all the
has his
movies,
likable charm. You know what
yeah,
I
he has
mean?
a charm, but you can see that he's very a jerk. Like he really only cares about himself. And,
Yeah.
he's a playboy. That's what he is. But you see him in the dirt, near death. He has a week to live. Jensen said in the movie, this is a very important week for him. You see Jensen. Jensen shows Tony what it's like on the other side, what his weapons are doing to people. You know,
Exactly.
it really changes Tony. You know, it makes
and
him
and it changes
Iron
him for
Man.
the better. Like
Yeah.
any person like in that moment, they would lose their mind and try to
Hmm.
kill themselves because over something that they do, over something that they did. But the way Tony does his thing, he just he tries so hard to be the hero because he wants
Hmm.
he feels guilty that this stuff happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. Tony. Like he sees like what he's done wrong. Everyone's telling them no. Stark Industries, we're a weapons company. We make weapons for Iron Man. And Tony, like, he wants to be more than the company. He sees that his inventions are killing people. It's not what he wants. You know, he learns from Yinsen that he can be more than Stark, the dealer of death, which I'm pretty sure they called him in the movie,
Yeah.
exactly that
merchant of death.
merchant of death. That's why I like my favorite line in the film is actually "Don't waste your life, Stark," because he doesn't.
That
After
was a
this
beautiful
movie,
life.
he doesn't waste his life, not one sec. He
He
start
is,
he starts hanging out with Scarlett Johansson. Like, come on, bro.
Oh
Like
my
he does
god,
a
dude.
lot of things, bro.
and you see Pepper says that. No, he says to Pepper, "There's nothing to sign. There's no benefit. There's only the next mission." That line. You can really see how Tony has changed from the beginning. Almost insulting the soldiers in the Humvee.
Yeah,
And, you know,
exactly.
the Tony that at the end of the movie and in the current MCU is like that's as I said, it's jarring to see like where Tony ended and where he started. He started he's just billionaire philanthropist, playboy. But
I think I think my favorite line in the film actually like kind of tied with this other line that he said to Pepper. It was like, "I shouldn't be alive if it wasn't for a reason." And
mm,
if that was Marvel Studios' like plan to have Tony Stark, die at the end of this whole 11-year arc, then I applaud them for that. Just because of
yeah,
that one simple line. This probably wasn't even in the script.
it probably wasn't.
Robert Downey Jr. is probably like, improvised
I
this.
don't think anyone could have brought Tony Stark to life in the way Robert Downey did.
Yeah. People were talking about Tom Cruise was gonna be in there. No. I don't think
Like
Tom Cruise would have did good.
I didn't know who Robert Downey was before Iron Man.
I'm saying.
I didn't know who he was. I knew him as Sherlock Holmes, and I didn't even know his name in Sherlock Holmes.
Like I didn't know that he was Sherlock Holmes until after I watched Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And
With David, what do you think about Tony? His arc, where he started and where
His
he
arc.
ended.
Tony's just Tony, he's the big man on the block who pretty much thinks he's everything. And technically he is everything.
so
Yeah,
But Iron Man as a character, he's one of my favorite superheroes of all time. He has
uh,
a great entry into the universe.
yeah, and I think you know he was John Favreau did a very good job of showing Tony like the way he represented Tony. He did it more in like Iron Man 2. It's his alcoholism.
yeah.
Tony, like, he has this bravado that he puts on. Like, he's the billionaire. He's got everything he wants, but on the inside, you can tell like when he's vulnerable with Pepper that I think he feels lonely. When he's like thankful to have Pepper there with him.
Yeah, because he
All in
actually
all,
is lonely.
I think Robert Downey succeeded as an actor and succeeded at creating a character in the MCU.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, you gotta. Well, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you guys. You gotta think about this. Robert Downey Jr. was not gonna get the role without Terrence Howard,
yeah, I gotta give him credit where credit is due.
because Terrence Howard was a friend of Robert Downey Jr. He did give the okay to Marvel to try to hire
Yeah.
him.
But now we're talking about that. Let's
All
get
right,
into
let's get
where
into
this
third
movie
act.
kind
The
of falls
third
apart.
act.
The dreaded third act.
Well,
You
now
know.
listen. Well, now hang on a minute. Third act
hmm
is pretty bad, but there is
No,
some
no one's
level
saying
to
it's
this.
bad. No one's
It
saying it's bad. It's just confusing, convoluted, messy.
yeah, but there are some layers to this.
Yes. I think
There
the
are a
main
lot of layers
problem
to it.
is Obadiah's plan. So he wants to take over Tony Stark's company, right? He wants to sell weapons, be rich. So yeah, he recovers the Mark One, or yeah, the Mark One, and he builds the Ironmonger suit. Okay, now this would have been fine if he built the Ironmonger with the purpose of selling it, but no. He steals the arc reactor from Tony. He should have killed Tony then. If he wanted to take over the company, he should have killed Tony then.
Yep.
So he takes the arc
Yeah,
reactor back. He puts it in his suit. What he should have done, give it to his scientists, replicate it so they can make more suits. Then, once he realizes Tony, Pepper, and the agents are coming after him, he just decides to start killing people. And, I was visibly confused the very first time I saw this movie. I
Yeah,
was like,
and I think the best thing about a villain is that the villain doesn't think of himself as the villain. What Obadiah
yeah,
Stane wanted was just wealth. He was actually a villain.
yeah, so,
He didn't
since
have any kind. He didn't have
that
any
that's his
type of
whole
redeeming qualities. So,
Uh, yeah, a lot of the Phase One villains are like they're just like big evil. Their plans don't really make sense. Like, why would Obadiah start killing people if he wants to
yeah,
be the head of Stark Industries? If we were gonna
exactly.
know that he was killing people, that's not very good for their stocks. What he should have done is killed Pepper and Tony privately. But then say an accident befall Tony, he has Stark Industries to himself. He does what the board wants. They make weapons, they sell it to terrorists, they sell it to anyone who was going to buy them, and then they become rich. You
Simple.
know, his plan fell apart.
yeah.
Well, I give it credit for the third act because you can forgive the villain and you can forgive the third act for this movie because if you think about it,
Yeah, yeah. It's
this movie didn't get demolished by the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight did make $2 billion, but this movie made 500 million.
mhm.
So you
the,
got to
the,
think like, especially with an unknown character, a B level superhero, unknown to like comics fans too. That's a lot of money.
yeah, and the movie you can forgive the third act because the other two are really good. And the third act's not bad in itself. When you watch it, like you rewatch it critically, you start to notice things like, hey, that doesn't make sense. Hey, why would you do that? You
Exactly.
should do that. You know, it's just I
It just
feel like they
shows
could have done better.
how the hero arcs have evolved over
Yeah.
the entire span of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
One
Yeah.
thing I will say that Iron Man is it's a very good comic book movie. You know,
Yeah, it's
I
very
think
good
it's
comic
very
book
good.
movie. I like the
Uh,
way how I like the way how like Jon Favreau transitioned between scenes. Like it's like a
mhm.
swipe or like a up swipe. I like those little
Yeah.
things, and I think he
Yeah,
uses those in his movies too, like
guys,
Elf
guys.
and Mandalorian.
All right, the third act. It's I think it's probably one of the worst in MCU, just
It's
because it falls apart compared to the movie.
yeah,
The
but
third
like I said
act
before,
got me sleep.
oh yeah, well like I said before, it is the second best of the Iron Man movies. It's just in my opinion.
Yeah, it's debatable. It's debatable.
Yeah, it is debatable, but we all know which Iron Man movie has the best third act. That will be later, though.
Yeah, we might be probably thinking of different things, but
Yeah,
the third act, it's enjoyable if you're just trying to watch it, to have fun. It's
yeah, it's
it is kind of cliche with Iron Man. It's an enemy builds a bigger suit.
and that's what this movie is. It's a big, fun summer blockbuster.
Yeah, and I like
They,
how a lot
mhm,
of the Iron Man movies they really like disable Tony at the end of the movie.
yeah,
Like he has to use his wit to outsmart the enemy.
exactly. And even the thing I know we're not there yet, but even the thing with Iron Man 3, he doesn't have the suit most of the movie, so he has to rely on his wit. So I thought that
Uh,
was really nice and very nice to his character.
yeah,
So
no,
what like for the movie, what were you guys' best moments like that you had the best time with?
My favorite scene in the movie is when he suits up with the Mark III for the first time, and he's about to travel over to Gomir.
Yeah, die. My favorite scene was actually the one where like he looks at himself in the mirror and kind of like
Right
blows up
before
the
my
memory.
favorite scene.
Yeah, yeah,
But
mine's come first.
the reason I like this scene is because you can see Tony. He's going to battle.
Yeah.
Because the reason he's so angry is because I don't know if you had noticed, but Gomir is the town that the incident was from.
Oh yeah, I didn't remember that.
I like
And,
when he goes back to Afghanistan with the Mark III and just starts whooping ass.
yeah, Iron Man.
Murdering.
Iron Man, like that's when like they show like this is Iron Man. This is the invincible Iron Man.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
everybody's
It's
dead.
very realistic too.
Exactly.
Like
I mean, when you see people smash into like brick walls, they're actually dead. Like they didn't get back up.
like Tony kills people in this movie. He kills a lot of people.
Everybody
My
died.
suspension of disbelief wasn't broken. I could totally see, if someone was smart enough, if someone was rich enough, that they could make this suit. They could be unstoppable.
Well, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Maybe.
Closest thing to Tony Stark we probably have in the modern day.
Yeah.
Probably.
But another great moment in this scene, I like the slower moments between Pepper and Tony. The scene on the rooftop, Tony abandons her, that's bad, but
Well, didn't you say that was bad CGI?
So you're a simp?
the CGI is bad, yes.
Also, you're simping.
I'm a simp. What?
You're simping for Tony and Pepper.
No, I just like them together.
He's a simp.
No. Shut up.
Anyway, no, the reason why my favorite scene is the best. He looks at himself in the mirror. He sees the guy that he was before. And when he looks at him in disgust and anger and just blasts the glass. He just blasts the glass. So basically that's him just throwing his past away. This is him
good.
now.
It's right before mine,
He's
so they're
not-
pretty
he's
much like
not-
the same scene.
He's not his father's son anymore.
Exactly. He's something more.
He's not the Merchant of Death anymore. He wants to be better. He's trying to be better.
Exactly. He had to become someone else.
He had to become something else. No, wrong franchise though. Wrong franchise. But another moment that I think is very good is the weapons demonstration test in the beginning.
Yeah.
Showcasing the CGI is also very well. Like I don't know if that part was practical or CGI, but
that part was practical.
It was practical. No, there's no way they blew up a mountain range in Afghanistan.
They didn't blow up the mountain, but there was the dust. The dust was real.
Yeah, it looked good.
The impact of the dust was real. But like that when they went to Comic-Con like promoting the movie, this was the first scene that they showed. Like nobody's seen any other scenes of Iron Man. This was the first scene that they showed.
That's a good thing to introduce the world to Iron Man with, I gotta say.
And when I was watching the footage from that Comic-Con, people were laughing at the line. Like that's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. Everybody was laughing at that line,
and it worked out well.
Exactly.
Also, what I think is the best introduction to a character is the opening scene to this movie.
Yeah, you see so much about Tony.
AC/DC, and just from the first shot of him holding the wine glass in the desert. Not wine, I'm sorry, I think it's whiskey. You can just see him the soldiers they're kind of scared of him. Not in a sense that they're
intimidated.
Yeah, they're intimidated by him.
Pretty sure it's bourbon.
God, you're a woman. Let's say Davis.
Pretty sure it's bourbon.
Bourbon, whatever, whiskey, alcoholic beverage, could be freaking Kool-Aid for all I know. But he breaks the silence of these stoic soldiers. He makes them laugh. He makes them feel comfortable while at the same time insulting them.
Exactly.
It's lighthearted. And then everything just goes down. The convoy is attacked, and he's seeing people just die by the weapons that he created. Tony he runs in cover.
And those were one of the best moments, like you just said, the quiet moments, all the moments that we just said, and even the ones where he realizes that what he been doing was wrong. He was reaping the benefits of people's deaths.
Yeah.
So that's
The
like that's
weapons that
crazy.
he created
And
to stop people were be using against the people who were
and if
supposed
you
to
think
stop them.
if you think about it, it's actually real life. Like this is actually happening in real life.
Yeah, a
People
lot.
actually reap off the benefits of others' deaths.
War profiteering is it's a very common goal. Well, there's not many really wars going on, but a lot of people do just like gain benefit from people dying, and it's really nice to see Jon Favreau touching like the darker themes of the world.
Yeah, but like it fits into the MCU very well. I feel like as a solo movie, and even if it wasn't trying to set up an MCU film, I think it fits into the MCU mode very nice.
That's where I kind of disagree. I don't think this movie fits into the MCU well. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
just good
agree
at
with
setting it
Jonathan.
up. I think it's good at setting it up, but the tone, like, it's very tonally different from the MCU. Like, this is before all the quips, all the jokes.
Whenever I think
Well, I mean, it
Iron
is
Man,
very quippy.
I don't
It,
think
it,
Iron
it
Man
is very
1
quippy.
at all. I think Iron Man 2 or Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 is just kind of, it's kind of there. Like it
It's like an
helped open the
Elseworlds type
universe.
movie.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
god.
it's like an Elseworlds.
It helped
But
open universe, except it's just not one that's very rewatchable to me.
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's not very rewatchable. Specifically the stuff inside of the cave.
Yeah, because
That's
none of
that's
the
the stuff
things that
that I don't
happen in
want to
this movie
rewatch.
are really shown off in later movies.
Yeah, and like you just said, a lot of things in this movie that were brought up in dialogue and then in scenes, they have significance inside of the rest of the MCU. That's why I
Yeah.
feel like it fits into the MCU
I
perfectly
just
well.
I don't think Jon Favreau, or maybe he was trying to set up the cinematic universe. Maybe Kevin Feige had it planned all along, but
Yeah,
no, this
they did
movie,
have a plan, but
this movie, I see it as like it just like kind of stands out like a sore thumb, in a
yeah,
good way though.
but
Like,
if you think about it, this was a gamble in and of itself. If this
mhm,
movie didn't work,
there would
then
be no MCU. Like this one, like
exactly.
it was never been done before. No one thought of trying to make this big interconnected universe. Anyone can pop up anywhere. And I think Iron
And
Man, it really changed superhero movies.
and for the longest, this movie had a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. That was like the highest score of any Marvel movie. Civil War couldn't top that. Not the Avengers couldn't even top that. Okay,
No,
so not even Endgame could top that, and Black Panther topped it.
Black Panther. We'll get into Black Panther down the road.
Yeah,
But Iron Man. Like Iron Man introduced this Marvel pretty much to everyone. There was the X-Men, but
I'm saying we had Spider-Man and stuff like
we
that.
all had Spider-Mans, but this was different. This was like it wasn't
This
trying to just be a comic movie. It was trying to tell just the story of Tony Stark and make us believe that this is Iron Man.
exactly, and it actually kind of turned superhero tropes on its head because we always known that superheroes are not supposed to tell their secret identity.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, he told the whole world that he's Iron Man, and he like kind of rubs it in their faces too in the second movie.
Yeah,
But
he is Iron Man, and
and he owns up to that. He
another
owns up to
trope it
killing
breaks. Like a lot of the superheroes, like they're likable. Like Peter Parker, Sam Raimi, he's likable. The X-Men,
exactly
they're
and
likable. Iron Man, I didn't like him. Tony Stark, my bad. Iron Man, he was kind of like he didn't seem like the person you'd want to be around.
Yeah.
He's kind of snarky and everything. But
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. That's Davis. That's Davis. Before Tony went inside of the cave, that's Davis. It's Davis's personality.
You have something to say about that, Davis?
Destroying my character.
Well, how do you think it fits into the MCU? How well?
My bad, Davis. That was toxicity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's all right. It's a cool movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Change it. Wouldn't exchange this movie for anything else.
The only thing, if I could be Jon Favreau, go back then, I just tidy up the third act, and I think it would be one of the most perfect superhero films in existence.
Yeah, but I mean, like easily they could have went with somebody more well known, like Captain America or Spider-Man or even the Incredible Hulk.
But they
went
with
a B-list / C-list character.
Yeah, But we're reaching the end, so it's only natural that at the end of the podcast we talk about at the end of the movie post-credit scene.
Bam,
what do you think
post-credit scene? Nick Fury shows up in Tony Stark's house, and it is amazing. I really like this scene.
He says you're part of a bigger universe and you don't know it. I think Fury was talking directly to the audience at that point.
Because Hulk actually became Bruce Banner actually became the Hulk before Tony Stark. All these heroes were actually out before Tony Stark.
Captain Marvel even. I know how you guys feel about Captain Marvel, but chronologically, Captain Marvel was before this. It's good.
Chronologically,
at that moment,
the first Avenger was before this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't even have
2008.
to look up.
2008.
Didn't even have to look up, bro.
Actually, Iron Man is set in 2010.
No, I'm talking about the movie came out in 2008.
Yeah.
The movie came out in 2008. Fury was talking to those people. You, the audience, you're part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
I think that was super hype. They're telling you as soon as he said the word Avengers, everyone knew what was happening here. We were going to get our Captain America, our Thor, our Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk,
Wasp, Ant-Man.
I don't think
people wanted
anyone expected it. I don't think anyone expected it to get to this scale that it's on.
Because I remember even in an interview, Kevin Feige said when he was working on X-Men, and he tried to pitch the idea to them so then they can bridge their connected universes together. They laughed at him.
And look where it got them.
Exactly. The messiest film franchise. Their only movies that were good were Deadpool and Logan and First Class and Days of Future Past.
And the post credits and I just think setting up other movies is just I don't think any other film at the time could have done it. Just imagine if at the end of Spider-Man 3, I don't know, the Defender just showed up and said to Peter Parker, "You're part of a different universe now."
That would have been amazing, but I felt like with ending the movie, with Peter Parker and Mary Jane dancing, that was pretty cool, and that was a nice love letter to their characters.
A lot of the people probably didn't see it because what movie before made you sit through 2 credits?
All right. Let's save the rest we have to say about other movies for a different time.
Yeah, I think just let's just finish off Iron Man. It's a very good movie. I think we can say that.
I mean, we all agree on the rating here. It is a 8 out of 10.
All right, but we're gonna be doing this for all the movies. Let's add it to a tier list.
All right,
S through F. So Sterling, very quick to jump to an A tier. Davis.
As a entry level movie, it's A tier, but as a Marvel movie, it's B tier.
I'm gonna have to agree with Sterling. I think this movie is an A tier. It would have been S tier if the third act was just a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau did an excellent job of bringing Iron Man to life.
Yeah, and especially because he had more freedom back then.
Mm-hmm.
They even got the effects on time, the filming on time, the script on time. It wasn't really a script, but they got everything on time and in time for the premiere in China. So it was a pretty nice thing.
And Davis, what are your final thoughts?
Iron Man is a good movie. It's just not my favorite. I mean, I love the character. I will always love the character.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. 100%.
It's just that I
best
think
MCU character.
that it's just not my favorite Iron Man movie, but it's still a good movie. I still enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
Yep. I've said what I need to.
Well, this has been one of the best experiences. Iron Man is really great. Okay, so this has been the regular podcast. It was anything but regular. We had a lot of innuendos. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but if you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll post some more podcasts.
Share it around.
Next week, we're coming with the Incredible Hulk podcast. We're
going to be doing
an entire review. We're going to do hero arcs, villain arcs, story, characters, all of that.
Yeah, basically, we're going to be talking about Incredible Hulk the same way we were talking about Iron Man.
Everything we did here, see it next week. So tune in there.
But negative. We're very negative.
We'll see.